Today we are going to be reviewing Best Deals by Elizabeth, and I'm really honestly excited to get the chance to go over your closet. You'll see I have a few tabs open here at the top. These are just things that I'm going to be referencing throughout this video. I do have a page here with my notes, and I also have this page here at the top that is all of your information and all the questions that you had. So you'll see me referencing between the few. First place I'm always going to start is just to say thanks. So thanks for giving us the opportunity to review your closet. Thanks for also giving us the opportunity to post this online. We do appreciate that. It not only helps you, but it's going to help other people to learn more about their stores and just kind of also see what other stores look like. First things first, I love that you have like a very cohesive brand. So I love every time I see a really cool banner with a cool individual logo. It's not just something that you just picked off from somewhere else. It looks like it's something that you had made or made yourself. I love this blurb about you, that you're finding homes for pre-loved items. I'm really looking for something that is selecting in good quality and really giving the buyers the best experience that you can. I love that you're willing to answer any questions and that you're able to respond as soon as possible. I think all of these things are going to bring buyers to your stores. I also thought it was interesting that you had a Father's Day section, which honestly, this is the first time that I've seen anything remotely like this, and I thought it was kind of interesting that you're marketing for the holiday. I don't think that's something that people typically think of, so I really enjoyed that as well. I also like that you have sales and promotions constantly running because, again, that's going to bring buyers to your store. It's going to help motivate them to want to shop. I love this like collage you did here where you took like a picture frame and kind of put some of your items in it as well. Again, all just very unique and honestly quite interesting. So as I said, you're going to see me referencing this page often. It just kind of goes over anything that I have notes wise. It's also going to be great for you to be able to kind of read through as you watch the video rather than having to take your notes on your own. It'll give you a chance to really see what I'm talking about versus just hearing about it and then having to take notes at the same time. So one of the first things that I always like to look for in general is going to be photos as a whole. So I'm going to go to filter see all so we can check out everything you have on your page. And I'm going to filter this to the newly listed items so that it has everything new listed. So just generally looking through, it looks like your photos do generally take up the entire frame. Looks like you do have pretty clear backgrounds in all of your photos and that generally they do look pretty consistent. I always think that that's big just for, honestly, like store presence. It looks really great when you can see the whole item versus having something that's like dark and dreary or, so small that you can barely see it. It's really taking up the majority of the frame, and I think that that is going to bring your buyers to you. I did select a couple items, so let's look through those. These are the 3 items that I picked to kind of focus on today. And in general, you can see you have a front photo, back photo, you've got a close-up of the print, kind of showing some of the details, which I definitely appreciate. I like that here you can see the like woven texture of the dress. Again, you show the zippers, anywhere, you turned it inside out, you've got the tags. Let's just take a second and talk about these measurement photos. These are probably the most epic measurement photos I think I've ever seen. I actually stopped everything I was doing yesterday to show both of the girls these measurements because they were like hands down the best measurement photos I've ever seen. I also really enjoyed this, like, thanks for your interest in my garment. Before any purchase, I advise you to compare the measurements to something that you own to ensure a good fit. I love that it's there. You can use the same one. You can put it on every single item. And it kind of finalizes the customers looking through the photos that you have. Same thing kind of applies with this. I love, again, the measurements. You can tell I've been on that one. I got kind of hung up on it. I like that you have the close-ups of the beading, that you're giving them shape by putting them on a mannequin, that you're really kind of giving all the details that you possibly can. The only shout out that I had as far as individual photos is that I'm not seeing a lot of like tag photos. So when I was looking up this Oscar de la Renta, most of the dresses that were selling were 100% silk. and I didn't see a tag showing the material. Maybe this one just didn't have one, but I didn't see that. And then I was also looking for the size tag on this dress, and none of the tags or the size was available on any of it. So I was kind of looking for that. This one here is a Chico's. Again, I love, like, look how close up this photo is. You can actually, like, literally see the threads of the fringe. You're so close that it really gives the buyer the true idea of what that looks like. I mean, when you talk about epic, this is what I call some epic photos. I love the amount of detail that you're including in them. You're really fully showing the item. I think it makes it really easy for buyers to see for sure what they're getting. The only thing I would add to that for sure would be the tag photos. I want to see what brand it is. I want to make sure that it's the right size, and actually physically seeing it gives me that peace of mind. Aside from photos, we'll kind of move into titles. So here you'll see these bolded titles are the titles that you chose, and anything below that would be the title that I would have given if I was writing it myself. Overall, honestly, it looks like the biggest thing that you need is more descriptions of the item versus keywords in your title. So I always think it's important for anybody to make sure that when they're doing a title that they are originally listing all the physical details of the item before they're listing any of the keywords. Yes, there are times where, like, say Y2K, it's important you have that in there. Or sometimes like Barbie core. We're talking a lot about Barbie right now since the Barbie movie is coming out. It will be important as a selling feature to have that in. It is something that is trending. But there's also times where the buyer that, you know, for like Chico's that's coming across that is probably more likely to search for something, you know, that is more focused on the actual description rather than focusing on it being like beachy or bohemian or whatever. It's totally cool to add those. But again, you want to have as many descriptions as you can first. So let's talk about titles. For the Oscar de la Renta, you put Oscar de la Renta women's dress, turquoise white floral, size 10. This, I would put Oscar de la Renta women's sleeveless knee-length dress, size 10, blue white belted or blue white floral even, just to kind of give an idea of more of what that looks like. Being sleeveless does help. Being knee length does help. That's going to really get buyers to your item. They're less likely to search turquoise and white and floral than they are to search, oh, I want it to be a knee length, or oh, I want it to be sleeveless. I also think, like I said with this, if this dress is indeed silk, which I cannot tell from photos, I would 100% put that in there because that is the selling factor on the Oscar de la Renta dress. For the French Connection, you put French Connection vintage embellished party dress, art decor, square beads, 60s. I would have put vintage French Connection women's short sleeve mini dress, size 4, square beads or art, artsy, anything along that. Chico's women's blouse, yellow embroidered beads, sequins, size 3 bishop sleeve. I would have put Chico's women's bishop sleeve, embroidered blouse, size extra large, yellow, white, beaded, and boho. Just because, again, you're getting way more detail, you're getting way more information just out of the actual title as well. Overall, looking at the details of the listings, they honestly look pretty good. As I already mentioned, the Oscar de la Renta dress is missing the material. That could be a huge selling factor for you. So I would definitely recommend on getting that in there. I also noticed on this Oscar de la Renta, not Oscar de la Renta, this is the French Connection. When I went to the description about, you actually have this listed as a midi dress, but the length of this dress is 32 inches. And you can see on this mannequin, it's actually hitting above the knee and mid-thigh. So this would not be called a midi dress. This would be a mini dress. That could be why some people haven't purchased it either. If you're going for that like artsy vibe, I would definitely get that corrected so that way they have the proper length. And then I noticed there's also some things that you're hand filling in the descriptions on. So one of the things was the square pattern being listed as beads, square beads. That's not going to be an option in pattern. If it doesn't apply, I leave it blank. I would never just fill something in because it's not going to make it any easier for a buyer to come across that. When you search something on eBay as a buyer, it's going to pop up with the parameters that you can pick from. If you pick something that does not qualify, it doesn't just pop up and say square beads. What it's going to do is just say like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not specified. I had to think a second on what it was. So if I go to these not specified, it's probably going to pop up. There it goes. With random sleeves. I'm just going to open one of these randomly. These are not yours, obviously. But if you look at the sleeves, okay, this one they didn't put anything on, but it kind of gives you an idea of what you're looking for. It's better to pick from the options that they give you if you're able to, before just hand typing things in. On this Chico's, there was some room for improvement on this. So the first thing is that a Chico's size 3 is something that you want to evaluate. So I'm not sure if you're super familiar with vanity sizing, but Chico's is a participant of vanity sizing. So here you have the size listed as size 3, which is technically right because that is the Chico's size. However, I'm going to just take you up here and just do a Chico's size conversion chart. And I'm going to show you a little bit about what that looks like. So if I just click into the sizing chart on the Chico's website, if I go to a size 3 is an extra large. So that kind of tells you a little bit about it. That's an extra large is not technically considered plus sized. So going back here, you have this labeled as a plus sized 3, which is probably going to make your buyers think that this is in fact a plus sized item when it is not a plus sized item. So I wanted to make sure that I let you know that as well, so that you can work on getting that changed if you wanted to, and that way you're ready. So you want to change that plus size type and also, again, change the size there as well, just to kind of make sure that the buyer is going to get what they are expecting to get. Next thing I want to talk about is going to be the... Oh, I forgot one. Let's focus on the shipping here really quick before I move on. Shipping on this, I noticed you have listed as USPS Parcel Select Ground, where on these other ones you have selected as first class. I'm not sure what your thought process was on that, or if it's something that you're experimenting with, but I thought that I would let you know that you do have those kind of mixed. In between though, I know shipping was one of the questions that you had. Depending on the weight, sometimes it's going to be cheaper to go as first class. And this should be a fairly lightweight item with it being this embroidered top. It may actually be cheaper for you shipping wise to have this listed as first class. Okay, now we'll move on. So let's look at buyer sell-through rate. So what I did is I comped to the best of my ability as if I was in the thrift store and was determining whether I was going to purchase this item or not. I searched Oscar de la Renta dress. There are 48 available and 15 sold. The French Connection dress, 50 available and 6 sold. The Chico's blouse, 54 available and 37 sold. So just overall, what I'm seeing is that there are some higher end items that you're picking up. They are more style based, it seems. That doesn't mean that they were bad purchases per se. It just means that you're going to have to definitely have a sellable feature to definitely make sure that this is something that you are able to pick up or have buyers want to pick up. When we're going to skip a chunk here, but when it comes to pricing an item that generally is not trending well as far as sell-through rate, you're going to have to make pricing adjustments to make sure that your item is the first item that people want to purchase. So for the Oscar de la Renta dress, you have it marked at $87. I probably would have put that at about $85 or best offer. I probably would have allowed offers on that. You might have to take a cut on that. I know that those range somewhere between really like 50 and a few hundred. It could make a difference depending on the material. Maybe you know a little bit more about that than what I do, but as far as a buyer looking at that, I honestly can't tell a whole lot about it, if it's worth it, if it's not worth it, and the buyer's got to feel the same way. For the French Connection dress, you priced that at $14.98. I probably would have marked it a little bit more towards $25 just based on what I saw as far as pricing. I do expect that at this price to sell pretty quickly for you. The Chico's blouse, you had your price is $18.19. I probably would have priced about $25. So if anything, it seems like your price is fair, if not a little bit cheaper. So I do think that you'll have an opportunity to move those items because the pricing is pretty much where it should be, if not below where it should be. Let's go back up to your overall percentage of sell-through rate. So you have 402 listings. If I filter to your sold listings, you had 48 for the last 3 months for 90 days. If I divide that by 3 to just get this month, you've made 16 sales this month. Your percentage is a 3.9% sell-through rate. The goal is to be about 10% each month, but we do have to consider other platforms. I believe on here you said you were selling on other platforms, so I would evaluate where you were at with your other platforms on whether that would be something that you would like to improve on, or I guess stay the same on, or if there's platforms that are doing better or worse for you. But you could be close to that 10% between all of your platforms. It's just something you'll want to look into. That being said, love notes. I looked at your feedback. Let me go here to your feedback. You do have 100% positive feedback. When I go to look into it, everything is positive. It looks like all the items are as described. They're perfect. You were very nice. Everything was packed beautifully. It came just as described. It was fast. Excellent. Really seems like your buyers really love the interaction that they're having with you. So that's definitely top-notch customer service. As far as consistency, what I'm seeing here is June 2nd through the 8th, and even today, the 9th, you have nothing that you've listed. The 1st, you listed 39. The 29th through the 31st, 0. May 28th, 1. May 27th, 1. May 26th, 4. So as far as takeaways for you, one of the huge ones is going to be this consistency piece. That's definitely something that I think you should take your very first look at, is being consistent with what you're listing on a regular basis. The next thing is going to be pricing. Keep up with this general pricing. I know you said that you've been making a lot of deals and a lot of discounts. How quick are you expecting these items to sell? Are you expecting to list it today and have it flip tomorrow? Because again, you have to be realistic with what that looks like. It could take you a little while to sell some items. But it does seem like pricing is pretty good. I would continue to make sure you check on pricing, only because it does appear to me that you probably are picking up items that you have available to you, but not necessarily items that have the best sell-through rate. So you might want to definitely keep that pricing in mind. The last thing is going to be higher sell-through rate items. That's the quickest way that you're going to move items fast in your store, is to do a very high sell-through rate model. That way you know that the buyer demand is there. Other than that, it's kind of what I have for your closet. I do appreciate Best Deals with Elizabeth giving us the opportunity to reach out and review her closet. If you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to drop comments in the chat. We can do our best to answer those for you as you guys are watching this. But we appreciate you giving us this opportunity, Elizabeth, and we will see you guys in the next one. Thanks.